Trouble knocked at the door, but hearing laughter hurried away. Benjamin Franklin.
In times of hardship, America has looked to comedy to lift up their spirits, escape harshness, and laugh away their cares. After a year of lockdowns, mask acne, Zoom school, and American tragedy, Canoga Park High School has taken on the daunting task of letting in the light. For 8 weeks, we toiled. We studied the slap, we examined the stick. We bore out space in our mind for the situation and the observant. We even on occasion musicaled. We've come out the other side with the power of the hook, line, and delivery. Triumphantly sarcastic, we offer our comic journey.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
To
To who?
to whom?
Like that.
Who's there?
Nuisance.
Nuisance who?
It's nuisance yesterday.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Doris.
Doris who?
Door's locked, that's why I'm knocking.
Dads are your caretakers. They raise you, feed you, teach you. They help you in every way, but sometimes they just make you cringe. They try to be cool, get up with the trends, but they're not cool. They're not up with the trends. Has your dad ever embarrassed you by using a magnifying glass while wearing glasses to look at their phones? Singing the latest song in the car or at home? Mistaking their child for another child? Or even loudly snoring in front of your friends? Well, fear not. With the all-new Dad Be Gone, you can temporarily erase your dad from existence with one easy spray. See that crush walking your way? With just spray Dad Be Gone and your worries are over. It works on young dads, old dads, very old dads. Just take the cap off, aim for the nearest boomer, and poof, they're gone. The spray wears off in about an hour, just in time to collect your allowance. This peace of mind can be yours for the low, low price of $9.99 or 3 easy payments of $3.99. But wait, there is more. If you dial this number in the next 5 minutes, you can get a great deal of 2 Dad Be Gone cans for the price of 1. Share a can with your friends or sibling. They'll thank you for it. Do not use Dad Be Gone if you're allergic to Dad Be Gone. In the event that your dad has an allergic reaction to Dad Be Gone, the effects in the spray are permanent. We are not invited to any mishaps or mental trauma that might come in the way of disappearance of a loved one or any human being. If you wish to erase your dad from the season and sorrow, we can't be satisfied with buying this product. If you lost your father in the sorrow, we are not able to bring him back.
When I die, I want to die like my grandfather who died peacefully in his sleep, not screaming like all the passengers in his car. Will Rogers.
Why did the invisible man turn down the job offer? Because he couldn't see himself doing it.
Have you ever noticed that anyone driving faster than you is a maniac, and anyone going slower than you is a moron? George Carlin.
You want to know the last thing my grandfather said to me before he kicked the bucket? Grandson, watch how far I can kick this bucket.
By the time a man realizes that his father was right, he has a son who thinks he's wrong. Charles Wadsworth.
Before you criticize someone, you should walk a mile in their shoes. That way, when you criticize them, you are a mile away from them and you have their shoes. By Jack Handy.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Why did the chicken cross the beach? To get to the other side. Why did the chicken cross the playground? To get to the other slide. How do you keep a chicken in suspense? I'll tell you later. Why did the chicken really cross the road? Because he thought it was exciting. Why did the chicken cross the road? Sadly, he was hit by a car and passed away shortly after. This would have been his 3rd birthday. I guess you could say he wanted to get to the other side.
I dream of a better tomorrow where chickens can cross the road and not be questioned about their motives. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Never Let an Angry Sister Comb Your Hair by Patricia McCann.
On a lovely sunny summer afternoon, around 10 years ago, my uncle, aunt, and cousin stopped by for a little while. They had an appointment to cut my cousin's hair, so they came over to pass time until the appointment. My cousin and I went into the living room to watch TV. She said they were only staying for a little while, but she didn't want to leave. After discussing it, we concluded that the only way she wouldn't leave was if someone cut her hair. Then, we decided that I would cut her hair. She thought I knew what I was doing since I was older by a year and 2 months. We got off the couch and went into the bathroom. I told her to sit on the toilet top while I went to get the scissors. I grabbed the scissors, went back to the bathroom, and began to cut. I thought it would be easy, and I was excited but scared. I was grabbing chunks of hair and just cutting them however I could. Back then, I thought I did a fantastic job, to be honest. I felt like a professional. I was ready to cut everyone's hair. After like 5 minutes, we went outside to show off her new haircut. We both liked it, but now that I think about it, her hair was more uneven than my lopsided shoulders. We announced that they didn't have to leave anymore because her hair was cut. Everyone outside started laughing. Of course, they left because now she actually needed a haircut by a professional.
I grew up with 6 brothers. That's how I learned to dance. Waiting for the bathroom. Bob Hope.
I have just returned from a child's party. I'm one of the survivors, Percy French.
There are only 2 things a child will share willingly: communicable diseases and its mother's age. Benjamin Spock.
There's nothing that can help you understand your beliefs more than trying to explain them to an inquisitive child, by Frank A. Clark.
Children really brighten up a household. They never turn the lights off. Ralph Buss.
5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. One fell off and hit his head. Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." At a family gathering, my cousins and I decided to start jumping on my parents and my bed back and forth. By the way, my cousins and I were always crazy and would always get into trouble. Until this day, we still get in trouble just by laughing. Anyways, we were all jumping, and one of my cousins got off the bed and bent down to take off her shoes. As she bent down, my dumb little brain said she wanted to give me a piggyback ride. So I jumped from the bed onto her back, and she freaked out and got up, which made me fall back and made me hit my head on the bed frame. I was now sitting down, bleeding and crying. My cousin ran to my mom and told her that I was bleeding, and she came into the room so fast. I have never seen my mom run so fast before in my life. I mean, never. She wrapped her shirt onto my head to hopefully stop the bleeding and told my dad, and they took me to the hospital and left a guest at my house. As I was sitting down in the car, I realized that my cousin probably didn't want to give me a piggyback ride. When we got to the hospital, the doctor told me that I needed to get stitches because it was a pretty deep cut. He started the procedure right away, and it honestly didn't even hurt that bad. It just felt like pinches. When the doctor finished, he gave me $5 because I did a great job and took it like a champ. On our way home, I was planning on what to buy with the $5. I wanted a Barbie house, Barbies, toys, and so many other things. When we got home, I saw that my cousins had written "Get well soon" with a Sharpie on an Elmo balloon that I had in my house. I was so mad at them because that was my favorite balloon. I tried to get the Sharpie off with the nail polish remover, and it worked, but it also took Elmo's face off. Rip Elmo. Gone, but never forgotten. Anyways, I got frustrated and threw the balloon away. My family then left me at my house and left me all busted. I honestly forgot what happened to my $5. I bet my mom took it from me and said that she was gonna keep it safe, just like she did with all my birthday money that I never saw again. To this day, my cousins and I find that story very funny. And that's a lesson, kids. Never jump on beds.
Children ask better questions than adults. May I have a cookie? Why is the sky blue? And what does a cow say? Are far more likely to elicit a cheerful response than, "Where's your manuscript? Why haven't you called? And who's your lawyer?" Fran Lebowitz.
I have found the best way to give advice to your children is to find out what they want and then advise them to do it. Harry S. Truman.
The quickest way for a parent to get a child's attention is to sit down and look comfortable by laying on house.
Little kids are so weird. I swear they come from a different planet. The other day, I had a friend over, and my family knows them, right? So we just walk in and walk towards my room, and my little stepbrother comes running at us, and I'm like, "Hi, Jared. Did you say hi already?" And he goes, "Yep." With the amount of confidence I hope to one day have. And he goes, "No, you didn't. You did not say hi to me." And Jared goes, "Yes, I did." And I go, "Okay then, when? When did you say hi?" And he says, "I said it in here." I was like, "Jared, he can't read your mind." And he says, No. You know, like when you go to sleep and then you see pictures? Do you mean a dream? And then this little boy sprints out of the room, full speed, and goes outside and plays with the Nerf gun. I never know how to deal with kids, which is funny because I want to be a nurse, and I was looking at labor and delivery. Could you imagine me holding a 7-pound slimy alien baby? I wouldn't know what to do with it. It would come right out and I'd drop it. I'd be like, "Ew, why is it slimy?" No more baby.
Before I changed schools last year, I had English for my first period. The teacher was one of those rude old ladies with her nose too high for her own good, so no one liked her. To preface, I'm a reader, and we were reading this book in class that I had finished the previous day on my own volition. Thus, I planned on reading my own book in class, which I had 3 copies of. I woke up late this day and had an argument with my parents, so I was in a pretty bad mood. Thus, when my teacher said we'd be reading aloud in assigned seating order, I wasn't too pleased. But I didn't overthink it, and I read my book during this time, forgetting entirely to keep track of the page we were reading in class. When it was my turn to read, my teacher must have forgotten her morning coffee because she got more pissy than usual and took my book and put it on her desk. I was slightly annoyed and the class was dumbfounded, but we continued reading, and I grabbed my second copy. The teacher caught this and scolded me for taking the book from her desk. I politely informed her that I didn't, and even if I did, I already finished reading the assigned text. She got angrier and took my book once more. I got out my last copy, not even a page farther when she caught me. At this point, my class was just as bitter as me. I turned to her desk with no copies left. My friend, who sat right next to it, passed me a sly look. I knew what he was thinking. My friend, who disliked her more than most on account of her making calls home for virtually nothing, grabbed 2 copies from her desk. He tucked one under his leg and passed the other to me, replacing them with his 2 books. This rotation happened every few minutes until the bell rang. My classmates knew what was happening the entire time and found it quite humorous. On the other hand, my teacher was vexed and grew more and more puzzled, asking how many copies I had. Multiple times. Just 1, I would say. She hated me since that day, but she never found out what truly happened on that Monday morning.
The best thing about being a teacher is that it matters. The hardest thing about being a teacher is that it matters every day, by Todd Whitaker.
Teaching, the only profession where you can steal things from home and bring them to work.
I've noticed that teachers get exciting, confused with boring a lot. By Sarah Pennypacker.
Teaching seems to require the sort of skills one would need to pilot a bus full of live chickens backwards, with no brakes, down a rocky road through the Andes, while simultaneously providing colorful and informative commentary on the scenery. Franklin Habit.
Kid comes home from the first day at school. Mom asks, "What did you learn today?" Kid replies, "Not enough. I have to go back tomorrow."
So, the first thing you should know is that my elementary school had this tradition where every end of the year they'd hold an annual 5th graders versus teachers softball game. When I was in 5th grade, almost every kid in my class was participating, except for me and my 2 friends, who we'll call Julia and Taylor. Now, I should note that, unlike Taylor and I, Julia actually wanted to be in the softball game, but she couldn't because I broke her arm. Yeah, I broke her arm. Accidentally, of course. We were 10, kids are clumsy. We were playing volleyball and I stuck my leg out too far and she tripped over it. Fell on her arm and broke it. And I, like the empathetic, compassionate little child I was, completely ignored her cries of agony and opted to chase after the ball that was rolling away instead. I wasn't even concerned until I got back and saw she still hadn't gotten up. We both laughed it off in the end, of course, but man, what a disappointing way to break your arm. Most kids, when they break their arm, come back to school bragging about how they fell out of a tree, or got hurt playing soccer, or they were fighting a dragon but fell off a cliff into a pit of snakes before they were carried away by an eagle and got dropped on the roof of the White House. I tripped over my friend's leg is just sad.
Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting in it a fruit salad. Miles Kinton.
We are all here on earth to help others. What on earth the others are here for, I don't know. W.H. Auden.
Julia's arm was the reason she couldn't play in the softball game, so she hung out with me and Taylor instead. And since everyone else in the class was taking time out of their lessons to practice for the game with the teacher, the 3 of us were allowed to wander the playground as we pleased. What is a trio of bored 10-year-olds to do when given an hour of free time on an empty campus, you may ask? Well, we decided to play detective and work together to solve a great mystery. Only we weren't playing. We genuinely thought we were getting to the bottom of a real mystery. For as long as we had been at that school, there were these trees that dotted the outer edges of the campus. There were around 4 or 5 of them that were much older than the others that had massive gaping holes in them. I'm talking pitch black, possible entrances to the void, hollowed out chunks of nothingness. You'd peer in and see nothing but darkness decorated with countless cobwebs. One tree had it so bad that the entire backside of it was just gaping pit of doom. Obviously, pair that with a bunch of elementary schoolers, and you're gonna get kids daring each other to stick things in there, like pencils and markers and hands. There was this one story floating around about a kid who actually got bit once when they stuck their hand in there. No idea if it was actually true or not, especially since some students kept saying it was a black widow that bit him, but hey, the story was there, and when you're that age, you tend to believe anything. But anyway, along with the creepy hollowed out trees, you also had massive dark holes underneath the trees. They basically looked like burrows in the roots, and they were also, you guessed it, pitch dark and littered with cobwebs. Kids liked shoving massive sticks and plastic toys down those ones. Now these holes, these burrows, they looked like the kind of place that a creature could live inside. Put that together with the one story that some kid got bit by something, and you have a mystery? And thus, our quest to discover the identity of the creature began.
The only reason some people get lost in thought is because it's unfamiliar territory. Politics.
Teachers deserve a lot more credit. Of course, if we paid them more, they wouldn't need it.
No school teacher has ever had a former student return to say a standardized test has changed his or her life. Joe Martin.
There's a fine line between a numerator and a denominator. Only a fraction of you will get this.
I remember those few weeks in a blur. We were determined to figure out what kind of animal was living beneath the school. And we were positive that it was all the same animal. We thought it was like moving through some sort of network of tunnels connected by all the holes in the trees, which would explain why nobody ever saw it if it stayed its whole time underground. We were so dedicated to solving this mystery, too. We took it so seriously. We even did research in the school library using books and computers. Whatever information we could find that might help us nail down the species of the creature. I don't remember all of the suspects, but I do know that a badger, a flying squirrel, and a pangolin were on the list. Actually, the pangolin was the one that had us the most convinced. So, make of that what you will. We would watch the trees every day while our classmates were at softball practice. We even got so into it as to dedicate our entire free time at recess and lunch to do this. We discussed posts and stuff for all of us to keep an eye on specific trees and report back to the others if we found any more clues. I can remember that the exact phrase, "This is our legacy," was said by all three of us multiple times with utmost confidence, as if figuring out the identity of this imaginary creature was going to go down in history books for all of time, like we solved world hunger or something. I don't know. Eventually, the end of the year was finally upon us, and we all made the mutual decision to spend our last few days just enjoying the time we had left. And so, we shed our tears and closed the door on the case of the unknown creature. So yeah, spoiler alert, we never solved the mystery because it was probably literally nothing. We even tried recruiting some third graders at one point, but it didn't work because all of them told us it was just a squirrel. Honestly, they were probably right, but no, the three of us were insistent on our cryptid pangolin theory. But hey, at least it gave us something fun to do in our last weeks of school, even if we could have done literally anything else.
Have you ever been late to school and accidentally grabbed your mom's diaper bag instead of taking your backpack with your science project? You go up to the front of the class and get a handful of diapers instead of getting an A on your project? Well, fear no more because we have the product that will become your new best friend and lifesaver. Introducing the new diaper taser ring. Never touch any of your siblings' dirty diapers again. This amazing product detects when your hand is about to be in contact with the diaper, and in a matter of seconds it will shock you, preventing you from touching any dirty diaper. With this epic invention, you will no longer get humiliated in front of your classmates and teachers again. Head on down to your local store to find the diaper taser ring. It's not $80.99 or even $49.99. It's only $12.99. What a steal for sure. What are you waiting for? Start shopping now. Batteries not included.
A farmer told his dog to find the sheep and round them up. When the dog came back, he asked how many sheep there were, and the dog said 50. The farmer said, that's funny, there were only 47 this morning. The dog replied, you said round them up.
I like geography. You know where you are with geography.
Light travels faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. Alan Dundas.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Big interrupting cow.
They interrupted.
Whoa.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Mikey.
Mikey who?
Mikey doesn't fit in the key.
Knock knock.
There.
I am.
I am who?
You don't know who you are?
I remember the very first time my family took my sister and I on a camping trip. We finally arrived at our campsite and we set up everything. My sister and I went on a walk with my mom and our dog. We were walking our dog near the lake and of course she pooped. So my mom picked it up. It smells so bad. We saw a dumpster and we walked over to toss the poop. My mom had her camera around her wrist and had the bag of poop in the same hand. As she was throwing the poop bag in the dumpster, her camera flew off her wrist and fell into the dumpster full of garbage. My sister was tiny, so my mom called her over. When my sister asked why, my mom picked her up and dropped her into the dumpster to get her camera. She finds the camera and we get her out of the dumpster. When she comes out, she freaks out and says, "Mom, I'm bleeding." We then realize it's not blood at all, it's ketchup. My mom and I were laughing so hard, but my sister didn't think it was funny at all. She was like, ew, I hate ketchup. That's nasty. She still hates ketchup till this day. It was all worth it because the late night campfires meant yummy warm s'mores and spending time with your family.
I looked at my family tree and found out I was the sap. Rodney Dangerfield.
Happiness is having a large, loving, caring, close-knit family. In another city. George Burns.
When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years. Mark Twain.
I don't know why I still remember this, but I was around 5 at the time. My family planned on going to Mexico during the summer to visit my grandma and my mom's side of the family. One day, my cousin and I had gone outside to play, and we noticed how my grandma's kittens were filthy, and decided we should give them a bath. So that's what we did. As we were finishing, she told me to grab a towel so that the kittens wouldn't be cold. I grabbed the first towel I saw and brought it to her. As we were drying the kittens, we noticed they had poop on the towel, and we didn't know what to do. So I put the towel back where I had found it, and she let the kittens run around. Moments later, we heard my aunt screaming. Little did we know she had just finished taking a shower, and that towel we had used for the kittens was hers. At that moment, we looked at each other, and we knew we had screwed up, and we both promised to stay quiet and not say a single word about it. When we heard her scream, we were terrified. We didn't want to get in trouble, so we acted like nothing had happened and continued to play outside. We had gotten rid of all evidence that would lead to us being the guilty ones, and no one had seen me go inside, so we were good to go. Minutes later, my mom had come outside and asked what we were doing. We said we had been playing outside the whole time. She asked if we had been inside at all. I lied and said no, and she believed me. She told us to come inside and see what had happened. We were told that my aunt had screamed because cat poop was on her towel and now her hair was covered in it. My aunt was mad, but assumed that the kid somehow got inside and did it, and she had to take another shower. The rest of the family was just laughing and making fun of her. We laughed along too, since now there was nothing we could do. Time has passed and she still has no clue that it was us.
The advantage of growing up with siblings is that you become very good at fractions. Robert Brown.
The reason grandparents and grandchildren get along so well is that they have a common enemy, Sam Levinson.
Having a child makes you a parent. Having two, you are the referee. David Frost.
The advantage of having only one child is that you'll always know who did it. Irma Bombeck.
You've upgraded your TV, smartphone, and everything else in your home, but life still feels obsolete. Fret not. Robotics Inc. is about to change your life for the better. Introducing New Mom. The New Mom installation happens in no time. In seconds, we will quickly contain and remove your old mom. But you won't be momless for long. Once New Mom has secured all entrances and exits, she will snatch a DNA sample of your skin and bond with you forever. New Mom has been hardwired to love you with every inch of her hard plastic exterior. With a crushing embrace and a grip unmatched by man, Mom will feel just like the old mom, but colder. Old Mom can barely take in the groceries by herself, but New Mom can throw a Winnebago 40 miles. Old Mom gets stuck in traffic, but New Mom's turbo boosters make her so fast she is undetectable by radar. New Mom blows everything else out of the water with her heat-seeking torpedoes. Don't worry, your old mom won't be far. She'll be compressed into a nutrient-rich nugget to power New Mom. So call today to take your life to the maximum.
My opinions may have changed, but not the fact that I'm right. Ashley Brilliant.
When your mother asks, do you want a piece of advice? It is a mere formality. It doesn't matter if you answer yes or no. You're going to get it anyway. Irma Bombeck.
Always remember that you are absolutely unique. Just like everyone else. Margaret Mead.
If evolution really works, how come mothers only have 2 hands? Milton Bro.
Thanksgiving dinners take 18 hours to prepare. They are consumed in 12 minutes. Half times take 12 minutes. This is not a coincidence. Irma Bombeck.
I just realized that. Let me check my calendar. Is an adult version of Let Me Ask My Mom. Noel Chapham.
So I grew up in an American school system, so I'm practically conditioned to not be weirded out by anything. But there's this one time I was genuinely weirded out. In 6th grade, I had a friend, and he always told me the weirdest stories, but I never believed him. And one of the stories he told me was, oh yeah, when I was like 6, I got attacked by a raccoon. So I was like, oh really? Prove it. So the school day ends, we go home, and the next morning I see him, I'm like, hey, where's your proof, sir? He pulls out a photo album from his backpack, and there's pictures from all the stories he's ever told me. And I'm weirded out at first, and I see a picture of him falling off the top of a playground. I see a picture of him falling off a kiddie ride at a fair. And I'm still weirded out. And then he pulls out the picture of him being attacked by a raccoon. And I was like, who took these pictures? He looks at me blankly and just says, my mom did. My poor friend had his mother watch him get attacked by a raccoon, and his mom did nothing but take pictures.
When your children are teenagers, it's important to have a dog so that someone in the house is happy to see you. Nora Ephron.
If you are not yelling at your kids, you are not spending enough time with them. Reese Witherspoon.
I want my children to have all the things I couldn't afford. Then I want to move in with them. But Liz Stiller.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Spell.
Spell who?
Okay. WHF.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Alpaca.
Alpaca who?
Alpaca the suitcase. You load the car.
Alright. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Tank.
Tank who?
You're welcome.
I'm sure wherever my dad is, he's looking down on us. He's not dead, just very condescending. Jack Whitehall.
Now they show you how detergents take out bloodstains. A pretty violent image there. I think if you got a t-shirt with a bloodstain all over it, maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem. Maybe you should get rid of the body before you do the wash. Jerry Seinfeld, Samara.
Here's something to think about. How come you never see a headline like Psychic Wins Lottery, Jay Leno?
Honesty may be the best policy, but it's important to remember that, apparently, by elimination, dishonesty is the second best policy.
It's amazing that the amount of news that happens in the world every day always just exactly fits the newspaper. Jerry Seinfeld.
I have a friend. He keeps trying to convince me he's a compulsive liar, but I don't believe him. Ben Bailey, Samara.
I'm very impressed with the seedless watermelon product that they have for us. They've done it. We now have seedless watermelon. Pretty amazing. What are they planting to grow the seedless watermelon? I wonder.
I mean, I don't think it's a quarantine hallucination because I'm perfectly fine. I have to be. I wouldn't even be surprised if a fish comes out of the water walking and starts talking to me. Or even just a tree. I might sound crazy, but I'm telling you I'm not. So you told me earlier that you're not the only seagull that talks. So where are the others? Are they just flying around from place to place, or do the talking seagulls only stay here? You know what? Don't answer that. Now that I've finally met a talking seagull, I'm just gonna ask you questions because let's be real. When am I gonna have another chance to talk to an animal and actually have a conversation with them where they answer back? But to start off, why are you looking at me like that? I'm just amazed that there's a talking seagull right in front of me. Now I'm talking to a seagull who probably thinks I'm crazy because I won't stop talking or give them a chance to even reply to me. You know what? I'm done talking and I will give you a chance to say something to me or just start off by explaining how and why you can talk. I'll just be quiet and take a seat on the sand.
I'm sick of following my dreams, man. I'm just going to ask where they're going and hook up with them later. Mitch Hedberg.
I'm at a place in my life when errands are starting to count as going out. Anonymous.
Never put off till tomorrow. Well, you can do the day after tomorrow just as well. Mark Twain.
The worst part of online shopping is having to get up and get your credit card from your purse. Anonymous.
I've come to learn that the best time to debate family members is when they have food in their mouths. Kenneth Cole.
I like long walks, especially when they are taken by people who annoy me. Noel Coward.
Home nowadays is a place where part of the family waits till the rest of the family brings the car back. Earl Wilson.
Before you marry a person, you should first make them use a computer with slow internet to see who they really are. Will Ferrell.
From the ages of 8 through 18, me and my family moved around a lot. Mostly we would just stretch, but occasionally one of us would actually get up to go to the fridge. Jared Kintz.
To err is human, but to really foul things up, you need a computer. By Paul Ehrlich.
Whenever someone tells me a knock-knock joke, I sit there quietly and pretend that I'm not home until they leave.